Most people don't fail because they don't have a vision. They fail because they don't execute. Welcome to the Uncontested Vision Podcast. I'm your host, Zarin Michael. This podcast isn't just about what I'm building. It's about the journey and the process. The things we're afraid to say out loud. I'm not above that. I deal with that too. But I made a decision to move forward anyway. And if you find yourself in that same space, then you're in the right place. Let's do it together.
Tell me how we get here. Tell me where we finna go. I thought you always be here. You could at least let me know.
What if the goal isn't really the goal? What if you thinking you chasing success, but you're really chasing validation? I think one of the most dangerous questions, or one of the most helpful questions that we ask ourselves is, what are we really doing whatever we're doing for? Because a lot of times when we get honest with ourselves, everything will start to add up and make sense. There's always some invisible audience that we feel is always watching us. I feel like a lot of us, most of us, if not all, feel like we're the main character in everybody's story. A part of that invisible audience that I had and that I'm still going through even today. I'm literally unspoken words, right? So I'm keeping it 100 with y'all, just being completely honest and transparent on my journey. But one of the first ones was, of course, was something most people experience this. It's your parents, right? So growing up, again, kind of just all raised by my mom and my grandma. It's like my mom, I didn't have my dad in my life initially. So my mom was who I was always wanting to make proud, who I wanted to impress. Especially being the firstborn, I just always wanted her to have that feeling that, hey, I had a success in my son, especially since, she made a lot of sacrifices for me. And I often always tell my mom, she had me at 21. I'm 28 right now. I always tell her just how much of a trooper she was, because I couldn't even imagine having a kid right now. Not necessarily because I'm not in a mental space to, but just like in your 20s, you're just trying to still have these experiences and explore. So I can only imagine how a child and that responsibility could take away from that, especially when you are passionate and looking to do those things and create those experiences. And then also, of course, my dad. I didn't know my dad until I would say towards the end of middle school, top of high school years. So it's still a fresh relationship. We've obviously been locked in for years at this point, but still a fresh relationship for me right now. But even when I first met my dad, all I would hear and all I would see was just the stories of his success, right? So he was a successful college football player and also had some extended years past that as well. But I would say that was probably where the peak was for him. And at that point, when I knew that, okay, this is my dad, I had that immense pressure placed on me. Because in my mind, I'm like, man, and I was playing football at the time too. I wanted to go to the league, obviously, as most of us all do at a young age. But obviously reality hit, right? But wanted to go to the league. And then I get news that this is, that this is my dad. Like, my dad is my dad, successful college player. So that just pushes me even more. Like, oh man, I'm his firstborn that he never met. Like, I gotta show him that, I'm you know what I'm saying? In the flesh, I'm raw. But again, reality hit. I really didn't understand the work that was needed to be put in to get to that level. All I seen was the glory that he received from that, right? So that's all I wanted, the admiration. That's what I became, and still, sadly, I'm often addicted to, right? That admiration factor. But I didn't get that work, that hard work instilled in me to understand what it really takes to get to the next level, until I, of course, started to get older and get to the age that I'm at now. So I'm with you, y'all. If y'all going through that, if y'all went through that before, we just got to get to a point where, again, you got to understand your life is your life. And of course, you want to do things to make your parents and family proud. But at the end of the day, you got to do it for you. And then also, relationships, right? Past relationships. So exes, Not even got to be full relationships, but girl, possibilities, things that could have happened, people that you could have talked to, people that you feel turned their back on you, things like that. We always wanted to make that statement, let you make that statement and impress and build upon that and let people know that, or at least make people feel like they made a mistake. I was just talking to my boy Damo about this because it was like, I admit that, and hopefully there's not a red flag, but I admit that sometimes I have like what I would call, I'm just gonna say like a narcissistic trait, and don't really take that full face value for what it is. Let me explain. So I let the craziest things motivate me. So when people turn their back on me, or again, when that expectation of what I thought they would be or how things would turn out didn't really go how I would play it, I become the main character. Excuse me again. I become the main character in the story. So I'm like, man, nah, they gonna feel this shit. Like there ain't no way they gonna let me go or do this to me, or like, nah, I gotta prove that I'm that nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like I gotta prove that. I gotta prove that it ain't no other option besides me, and that you're making the biggest mistake of your life. So that's why I say it's narcissistic in a way, because it sounds crazy, but I just use it as like my ultimate motivating factor. Like, all right, I gotta show her, or all right, I gotta show bro. Like, nah, bro. Like, bro did me like that. I would never do my bro like that. Like, nah. All right, let me show him. Let me do this. Let me do this. Put Rolexes on all the gang's wrists. Why they looking from the outside looking in type shit. Like that's how I stay motivated, oddly. And then of course you got society and social media, right? So a lot of social media rules the world at this point now. Social media is the world. Unfortunately, a lot of the times we fall victim to the things of this world, and social media just makes it even much more difficult. But just a comparison, just that constant comparison, and wanting to, feel like you've accomplished something. You want to post it. You want to show the world. You want to show people that maybe haven't seen you in years, or people that you want to. Maybe it's a girl that you DM you want to get into. So you're like, all right, if I make my page look like this, if I present this, then that's gonna be able to open the. Because you know how it is nowadays. Like girls that have 10K followers, following 100. You like shit. I'm trying to get scrolls in. I'm trying to get squeezed into the mix. But. So sometimes you do things or try to present things just for that purpose. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, we keeping it 100. We keeping it all the way real. I don't sugarcoat. It's unspoken words. Everything that we're afraid to say, I'm keeping it real on here, and I've been doing that all season. So, appreciate everybody that's tapped in with me, that's been tapped in and showing the support, that's watching and liking and sharing. Man, it's big thanks to y'all for real. Most people, as I said, most people have that invisible audience in their head, and I'm telling you, I'm one of them. I'll be honest with y'all, like even just recording this right now, again, going back to the social media piece, like I had just been, sometimes you can get down on yourself, right? Because you just like, I've been doing these, we on what, episode 5 right now, 3rd season, and I just had to, like, I got down on myself this morning, man, because I was like, I wanna record a new episode. I want to continue to push the message and the vision. But then I just got down on myself, just looking at the views, low view count, things like that. But just not really realizing, like, man, it's just the consistency. Just stay with it, dog. Like, that's what I had to tell myself. I heard God's voice on my mind, like, man, that don't even matter, man. Just keep going. You're doing what you called to do. And everything gonna play itself out. But again, you have those things. You human, so you have those things, those little things in your mind. You like, man, like I wish. I'm more worried about the numbers than the actual vision and the message that I'm trying to convey. So I had to kind of just readjust my mind this morning and understand that, hey, this is what you're doing it for. And also another thing that we need to separate is just the success versus the validation. Because again, a lot of times we're not really doing it for the reason that we think we're doing it for. We want to be validated. We want to be seen by others. We want to be admired, things like that. So, of course, that can go to your career. You want that title, that money, you flexing. You got the money phone, you flexing because you want all the girls, or you want everybody to see that you done came up, that you from 10 years ago, that you done made away. The followers. And that's the crazy thing about today's day and age. Honestly, more people is worried about their follower account than their bank accounts. and it's really sad. Like, but we all fall victim to it at a certain point. You got to just start realizing like what really matters, in life. The music, the fitness. Like a lot of times you go to the gym and you want the six pack, but you're not doing it for the health reasons that that you require, that you need. You're doing it because you want shorty to see. So it's like, and I'm telling you, I'm keeping it all the way 100 with y'all, man. Like we all done been through it. You just gotta have that confidence and instill that in yourself and understand like what you really doing it for. I know I done said it a couple times, but what you really doing it for, because you want to see success in your mind, or you want to be validated by somebody else's words or looks or gaze. Now, to kind of piggyback on that, validation isn't necessarily evil all the way. You know what I'm saying? It's just, you just have to have a balance of it. Of course, once you are in a certain environments where people do validate you and you understand that you are making that progress and doing what you need to do, again, when you're doing it for that extra in sense of, I would say, when you're doing it for the extra sense of encouragement, that's more of a positive connotation. And when you're building a community and people, like let's say I'm releasing some music, right? Building in the UV community, and people within that community are like, yeah, I like this, or giving feedback in certain ways. Then that's validation in a sense, to understand that, oh yeah, I did make a good song. So let me kind of continue to build upon that versus doing it for the wrong reasons, because that recognition does matter in certain scenarios, for sure. And the main thing that we kind of been touching on throughout the last few episodes is just really what's most important. Again, what and who are you doing it for? When you do it from God's perspective, when you're doing it for the Lord, then it gives you more peace. It puts you in a different mindset day to day. And you understand that all you have to do is just be yourself, create, and everything is going to kind of work itself and play itself out. Because it's exhausting to constantly have to perform, especially for all these different platforms. You got TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of these different audiences, and you're trying to be somebody that you may not be on these audiences. So on these platforms. So all you need to do is just focus on being yourself, and God will make that way for you. Like, for real. Faith is one of my biggest values, and you just have to understand just how easy life can get when you let it all go, and focus and pay attention on the Creator. Because you don't need, as I continue to share my journey, I don't need everyone necessarily to understand the journey. I want to continue to share it and be honest, and then people that connect with the journey will connect with it. That's just how you continue to build your audience and community. But it doesn't have to be forced on people that's not interested. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you don't understand it, I get it. We all gonna be different, and there are things in life that we may not understand. But I just want to do my best to be real, be authentic, and share my truth, so that people that are going through similar things, which more than likely everybody is, but sometimes people are too cool for school. So when you're going through similar things, you can connect and kind of drop things from this to instill into your life as well. And if nobody, this is what I'm gonna leave y'all with. If nobody is watching, would you still pursue the thing that you're pursuing? Would you still do what you're doing? That's a real question. So think about that. I appreciate y'all all tapping in. It's your boy Super, and we out.
Tell me how we get here. Tell me where we finna go. I thought you always be here. You could at least let me know.